So, I just realized I treated myself before we got to the cast today. I went out and bought some Red Bulls, and I realized with how quickly we have to go to sleep after this cast finishes, I can't actually drink one tonight because then I won't sleep for the European group tomorrow. My life is so hard, guys. But welcome, everybody, to the fight before Christmas. We're through the hellish nightmare that was the qualifiers, and we're into the actual group stage. This is going to have all best of threes tonight. The approximate schedule's been posted on Team Liquid, so you can check it out there. But in this first match, neither the winner nor the loser's matches have been set yet. It's just the first match of the night. Spotting in the top right corner of the map, I present to you the purple Zerg player, Acer Scarlett.
In the bottom left, as the pink Zerg player, it's my Insanity's Kane.
Alright, and as per usual, folks, we got about a 3-minute delay, pretty standard tournament stuff here on the stream. If you guys have any problems with audio discrepancies, if you see lag or anything, do let us know so we can try and address it as soon as possible and take care of that so that you all have a great viewing experience. But yes, it's the first game of the night, and we're just going to hope everything's good to go from the get-go. As far as this match is concerned, though, it's a doozy, I'd say, to say the least. I think a lot of people, when we first posted the invites, Polt and Scarlett, the favorites, no question to get out of the group. Didn't matter who we were going to get through these qualifiers, but I gotta tell you, if there's one guy in this group, I've got faith in Kane to be the guy who upsets everybody.
Okay, sure. I'll give you that one. I think he could definitely take out Scarlett, and if Polt's been a little, I guess, inconsistent's not the right word. I guess he's hitting a wall is more like it. Like, he'll get to a certain round and just suddenly just, but I guess if he's playing like that, Kane could also do it. But I'm on board the Scarlett and Polt getting out of this group train. Woo.
I think one of the things that does impress me about Kane, though, is his ZVZ has always been pretty good. There's some Zerg players out there we see play ZVZs relentlessly, and it might not be Kane that we always see at the finals for the Go for StarCrafts or in these joke matches like we had Betrayus versus Dana the other day. But for the longest time since we've been casting Kane, what I do enjoy about him, and I think this is his greatest strength, is the fact that he's willing to do whatever's necessary, whether it's Swarm Host, play standard, or all in.
That sounds very. He can do whatever he has to do to win, including assassinating the other player.
I'll kill her in real life so she can't use the keyboard.
We'll take away her keyboard. It's actually a semi-realistic joke ever since we saw, who was it? Was it Polt, actually? Who tried to take, no. At the show matches, it went over and tried to, stop them from using the keyboard.
I remember what you're talking about. I can't remember who that was, though, yeah.
Yeah.
But
of course, they're nowhere near each other.
Well, I think okay, so here's what do you think? Do we see the circling aggression here? I mean, speed's coming out of Kane, but this doesn't necessarily mean he's going for a big Ling all-in, right?
Oh, I was so confused. He was gas canceling.
Actually, maybe he will. He did take off gas. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought the other gas was Anyways, they both good for gas. He is a little bit faster. Scarlett, she's getting a Baneling nest, so if he does, it shouldn't be like a super duper all in. Like, I blitz more 15 Banelings and hope she doesn't have a Baneling nest. Like, that'd be a really terrible move. As he's about to scout that, the Baneling nest is down, but
so
it's past that time.
I don't think she actually got up there with those two Lings to see that he pulled off a gas. This is just a safety Baneling nest, and that's great. But had those two Lings actually got up here and saw no workers on gas, she would have been getting a much better read on Kane. But at the same time, Kane got a full view of Scarlett with his Lings. He got to see her gas. He saw that she stayed on gas, and he saw that she had a Baneling nest coming. So for him, this is, I'd say, better information-wise. And rather than go for anything cheeky, he just goes straight up to lair.
Yeah, lair and an Evo chamber.
Did he? He canceled his speed.
Really?
Yeah, so that's kind of a cool move.
That is interesting.
Gotta squeeze out every bit of gas. I mean, that layer is pretty expensive.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Of course, Scarlett. No, it's a fake. She couldn't get back up there and scout that it was a fake because you just figured that speed was finished. Although, okay, maybe she just killed the Lings before the speed was finished. I don't know if she was able to see any more Lings. If she saw Kane's Lings now, obviously they don't have speed, and she'd be like, well, "That's interesting. I thought I saw that he took gas, and I saw that the pool was wiggling." But it's pretty important that she does, though. I mean, if he's not going to get speed and he's not going to get a Baneling nest, she can make that 20 round of or 20 lings, that's 20 rounds of lings, 20 lings and attack the third and stop them from getting up. Because Kane's only going to have 3 roaches, and they can get surrounded, they can get killed, and even if they don't, that's not enough DPS to take down the lings.
20 rounds of Lings would actually be a lot of fun to watch, to be honest, because that means it's just like an endless fight. But alright, so the roaches coming out for Kane here. One of the things about nice, like, by going for that faster layer, he gets the roach speed much sooner. Should Scarlett have matched him on this, it would have been a little bit problematic for her, but she's gone for a Spire instead. And if we're going to be honest, this is, I would say, borderline predictable. I'm remembering back to when Hinge was played her for WCS, and I know everyone was kind of like, oh, Hinge was beat Scarlett, like, what's happening to Scarlett? But Hendros came into that series, I know, very well studied for her, very well prepared to deal with exactly what she was going to do, and he knew it was going to be Mutalisk. He knew that he would be able to beat the Mutalisk going into it. I mean, like, back then, that was a very studied match. I can't imagine Kane has done that much, like, to read into exactly what Scarlett's going to do before she even knows what she's going to do, but I do like her reaction. There's 5 spine cars coming down. You're expecting that roach push to hit before you have Mutalisks out. We see it happen all too often. And with the amount of links she has coming out, she's certainly going to be able to buy all the time in the world to get those Mutalisks into play.
Or counterattack. With the spine crawlers up, she'll obviously be able to save her natural, but she might be up the third. I don't think there's enough lings to really stop that from happening unless the roaches split up. But she can definitely threaten a counterattack and at least even them out on thirds.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger threat. Not actually taking a fight on the roaches or taking the fight to Kane's third. He's actually left a couple of roaches behind. Kind of a cool move, but 3 roaches aren't going to stop a hell of a lot of lings.
No. So that's going to be... Well, she gets a free queen. That's nice.
Well, not really free, but, yeah.
Okay, almost free queen.
Well, Kane's going to cancel the third. Problem is, Kane's third's already done, so no cancel over here. It's going to be a kill. Roaches are going to get surrounded here at the back of the mineral line. Roaches are not coming back home, but going full ball across the map.
I don't know about take all those 3 roaches, really. She's not going to get the hatchery now.
Yeah, they bought all the time in the world to send those lings back home. Kane saw the amount of spine cars, walked right past them, went for that drone line, got a couple of kills for this, but really not that many. This wasn't the biggest attack in the world, but he takes out a queen, so it's going to hurt the larva injects for a small amount of time. For his sake, though, immediately 3 queens start. Immediately, spore crawlers on the way. He knows he's going to need an anti-air, and it's not fun trying to dance around Mutalisks.
I mean, Scarlett can certainly still do a lot of damage to make up for this, but like that's making up for a lot. Not getting your opponent's third and losing your own. Now you're really far behind. Obviously, the mining is not very optimal at all, but she is the one that throws down the infestation pit first. We usually see the infestors in reaction to the mutas, not mutas into infestors? Swarm hosts? Swarm hosts would be weird. Not many people do swarm hosts. Yeah, people tried, but then died off.
Well, the Overlord is being brought back home, trying to minimize losses. Scarlett's actually only picked off a couple instead of countless amounts. King go for a counterattack. This will get a move to take Scarlett and make sure that she has to stay at home defending with the Mutalisk rather than picking off queens and rather than picking off drones. Kane kind of knows at the back of his mind too, like there's just no way to really use these roaches at home. So going across the map with these is a pretty smart move. Problem is, I don't think he actually knows about this 4th. So Scarlett's quote-unquote third may have been canceled, but she should still get a 3rd base up.
This is kind of interesting. Scarlett going for a hive with the infestation pit.
Ooh.
We've seen players go for like really fast Greater Spire, usually in somewhat of a desperate move. Like maybe if I get a couple of Broodlords out, I can bring it back into this game. And I wonder if that's the same thing for her. Now it's just been scouted, or at least the hive's been scouted, but you got to figure they're gonna go for like a Greater Spire and not like Viper Muta. Does that even?
It seems crazy to get a Greater Spire this early. There's a lot of like sort of step 1, step 2, step 3s you'll see to getting the Broodlords out. If Scarlett actually is bold enough to go straight to that, I would be honestly quite surprised.
What else would she do with it though?
I guess tech. I don't know. It's I'm thinking
an Ultralisk Cavern with like no upgrades, maybe.
Mayhaps be zombie, I don't know. But these queens fighting like warriors in the middle of the map, taking a couple of the mutas. Good focus fire here out of Kane. But as we know, queens are quite slow and can't quite give chase.
Can't really afford the Greater Spire anyways, putting everything that she has into mutas. I like this choice. I mean, she noticed that, yeah, okay, queens can be good, but she's taken on a lot of them. They're running out of transfuses. If there was 10 Hydras, maybe she gives up on the mutas. I don't know. Maybe she tries to swamp with Lings instead. But, you know, definitely with a lack of anti-air, that's her kind of only hope, kind of like in a ZBT where maybe the Thors will die, maybe all the queens will die, and then the mutas can clean up the roaches.
So one interesting thing is, like, while this scuffle's going on in the middle of the map, Kane's going for his own Spire, and that's not a bad idea, whether it's his own mutas, whether it's Corruptors, in anticipation of Broodlords. But the problem is he doesn't have all of his gases taken. He's only just now taking the second gas on his main. His fifth and sixth haven't been taken yet. The sixth one, or I guess fifth one's sort of on the way. This is all kinds of not so good as far as getting his gas count up to actually mass-produce Corruptors.
Sure, but he's doing a lot of drone damage. He found that fourth. Gotta be a little peeved that got up at all. Kills a lot of the drones. Actually brings her down to almost even, though. I guess with these last few, maybe.
I'd say this is a pretty big deal, though. Broodlords plus that many Corruptors is going to be really expensive. Every drone he kills really cuts into just how many Broodlords she can make.
Look at her bank, though. It's actually really good. I think Kane, he might have made a mistake relying only on queens. Maybe he pushed out too soon. Maybe he should have waited for like two more sets of queens. We have to total of like whatever 16 instead of just 10 or however many he had. But like he lost the opportunity to really force her to sweat here. Like she's always going to have a lot of mutas, and he's apparently only going to ever have roaches. And Corruptors are obviously necessary, but she already has her anti-air. It's not like she has to build Corruptors and only a couple of them into Broodlords. Her muta are her Corruptors right now.
I am a little bit curious how this is going to dance, though. Queen Transfuses might just win out the Corruptor War for Kane, depending on how many come into a fight. True. As we see, the Queen damage alone is pretty good at taking out the Mutalisks, but of course the scary thing is Scarlett's not going to be able to make that many Broodlords because she's going to need a certain Corruptor count to actually maintain air superiority.
I just wonder if I think like the Queen Transfuses were a great thing to bring up, because like right now, if like 5 Corruptors just bare, they're going to lose out to her mutas, right? But with the Queens underneath them and the Transfuses, then yeah, she'll need something a little bit more than just mutas. Her own Corruptors, of course, be better.
Well, there's a lot of spine cars coming down with this Broodlord army.
Why did she kill the creep tumor?
It's in the way.
It was in the way of what?
I don't know. It was empowering actually some of the spine crawlers. I think the creep's gonna receive pretty far in a moment here, but. So Broodlords is a very scary thing to do. We've seen her teammates, Bly and Urchio alike, just pull off this sort of tactic in ZVZ plenty of times before. We'll see if Kane can deal with this, because it's not his first pony show. It's definitely not the first time he's seeing Broodlords in this matchup. But Corruptor for Corruptor and Queen for Queen, Queen for Corruptors rather, transfusing like nuts. You're trying to focus down the Broodlords, making sure you can take a ground fight following this. The Queens will eventually deal with those mutas. There's so many Queens here. There should never be this many Queens offensively.
Finally, a couple of Spore Crawlers finish up, and that just wrecks Kane's Corruptor army.
Man, the 45 damage versus air, versus biological, I should say, more importantly, it just is insane. Big counterattack of Lings going across the map. Kane's been so focused on this one avenue of attack, he's forgotten to defend his third. Earlier today, he had, like, this defense sitting around, but it's not going to happen this time, and these Lings are going to gut this third base. Kane at this point, like, is it borderline base trade time? Like, I mean, his whole army's over here.
But how do you base trade with like the slowest unit ever?
Exactly. With the Corruptors all gone too, there's just no way to deal with the last couple of Broodlords. Like Scarlett's only made about 3 more, but the frustration is there's more Broodlings than Kane has damage. Queens are the only form of anti-air to get up underneath this.
Well, they're doing an okay job, but they're just not enough. She still has a couple. There you go. Like Scarlett. There was another person that we saw that, like, they just took so much damage and they went for emergency